Hello, my friends. Jaqui Eicher here. I am coming to you from First Congregational Church, United Church of Christ in Corvallis, Oregon. And I made a face because I made a mistake already. First Congregational United Church of Christ in Corvallis. Nice that you're here with me. It's rainy today, but not as cold as it has been, which I find refreshing. My dog Pearl, however, did not like walking in the rain, so we had a very short walk this morning. And before we do anything else, I will remember to light a candle, which I have in this wonderful candle holder, to remind me that God is with me and God is with you. And this candle helps me remember that I'm not alone. And in fact, that's what the story today is about. God with us. So before we do anything else, if you can repeat the words with me, you're welcome to. I am breathing in God's love. I am a beloved child of God. And I can share God's love with the world right here around me. So wherever you are, the same is true for you. During Lent, this season, it's the season before Easter. I'm reading some meditations to help us calm our bodies and calm our minds. So this one is called Kind Rain. I may have read this before, I'm not sure, but it fits well with today because of the rain and also the story from the Bible. Kind rain, you bring new life to a thirsty land. So take a few moments to get comfortable. Take a deep breath in and out. You can look at this illustration or you can close your eyes. You are the kind rain. Imagine your body slowly crawling across the sky on a bed of clouds. You feel the weight of your many drops ready to soak the land. When the time is right, you let go of all your water. You fall on the tree and soak her roots. You rain on the ocean and join her family of water. You get stronger. You bring more power into each drop. Your storm is a kind one. It is quiet as you move across the earth. You know your water brings new life. You are happy to see the plants, animals, mountaintops, and oceans soak you up with open arms. Where do you think the rain goes next? Do you feel lightweight or strong, or both? Where do you go once you are done? I have always liked the rain. I know that sometimes we get a lot of it, but I still do love it. I love the way the rain smells. All right, my friends, I have a scripture from the Bible. That means just a little bit of words from a book called Psalms, which is like songs that people long ago would sing to remind themselves of God's presence. This is Psalms 23. And this is one that lots of people memorize because it's a comfort. When you are in a struggle, you might find comfort in remembering this. Here is the scripture. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You make me lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside still waters. You restore my soul. You lead me in right paths for your name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. That is the end of the scripture. So I'm always asking, what stood out to you? What did you notice? What will you remember, do you think, from this scripture? Could you see a picture when you were imagining this as a story? It starts out with the Lord is my shepherd. And if you don't know, a shepherd is someone who takes care of sheep, usually, or other animals out on the field, and they watch over the animals at night. So imagining God as a shepherd is a nice image. I wonder, I can't hear what you're saying, but I wonder what you noticed. I have another question. In the story, it talks about, in the Psalms, this talks about how God watches over and leads this person to the right place by the quiet waters. And even in the dark, there's no fear because God is there. I wonder if you can think of a story when you needed something and someone came along and gave that very thing to you that you needed. It might not be a thing, it might be comfort. Someone noticed that you were crying and gave you just what you needed. Maybe a little stuffy, or maybe some water or food. It's good to remember that there are people watching out here for us. And I have a book to read about that sort of thing. I have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to stick to a book. So I'm reading you a story today, Pearl the Courageous Corgi Pup. And I wrote it and illustrated it because it's such a powerful story, and it fits with today because it's by the water. It's about someone who needed something and someone else who came and provided that very thing that this little being needed. Pearl enjoys walking with her new family along the path at Crystal Lake Park, especially on sunny days. Today was not a sunny day. Raindrops land, tap, tap, tap on her coat and drizzle down her skin. Pearl is a 4-month-old corgi pup, and her belly fur scrapes along the wet grass. Her puppy paws are now substantially wet. That's little Pearl. Not my Pearl, but a different Pearl. Pearl does not want to stray too far from her humans. She's not that interested in all the smells and sounds in the forest, only a little. One smell in particular catches the attention of her nose, and she follows it down to the bank of the river where the giant tree is uprooted and leaning against the water's edge. So Pearl is going off toward the water. There is so much to sniff here. Fresh, wet earth, sniff animal scents, sniff decomposing scents, sniff, sniff, sniff. Pearl is lost in all of the scents, and now she is lost. Her humans are not here anymore. Pearl is suddenly scared. She runs up and down the bank of the river, trying to catch the familiar scent of her family. Her path stretches farther and farther from the riverbank with the uprooted tree. Now it's getting dark. Pearl doesn't know where she is. Pearl doesn't know what to do. Let's see if I can read it while I show it to you. Pearl has never slept alone before and has never slept outside in the wide world. She hears noises. A strange creature with a wide, I can't do that. A strange creature with a wide, flat tail shuffles by her. Pearl watches this large creature as it uses its tail to pat wood and mud. The structure looks cozy and warm, but Pearl doesn't know how friendly these mud builders are. Pearl is cold and wet. So I wonder what that mud builder is. The creature is right there, building something with a flat tail. Do you know what that is? A new sound startles her. It's not the flat-tailed creature. It is black and white, almost as big as she is, and has a fluffy tail. Then she notices that this creature is followed by 5 or 6 tiny black and white creatures just like it. They are babies following their mom. Pearl watches them as they all scamper expertly into a nearby tangle of blackberry vines. Just after the last tiny creature disappears into the brambles, Pearl follows them. She spends the night sleeping in the dark, wet forest with this warm family as neighbors. Can you tell what creature that is? There's Pearl, and here's the creature with the babies. The family of skunk. Soon it's morning. Pearl is hungry. Pearl is lost. Pearl is scared. Timidly, Pearl steps out into the daylight. She's thirsty. Her nose leads her to the riverbank where she laps the cool water without an idea of what to do next. Pearl sniffs for any familiar scents. She sniffs the bank of the river, the roots of the trees, the trail. Sniff, sniff, sniff. My Pearl is hearing her name. Suddenly, her collar, the new one her human family put around her neck just last week, catches on a tree root. She is caught and can't move anymore. Pearl cries. Pearl barks. No one comes. A blue heron passes overhead and Pearl barks at it. The great bird flies past. There's the bird. And there's Pearl. Bark, bark, bark. In time, Pearl is thirsty once again. She is trapped. Her collar is tangled up with the tree roots. Pearl is so hungry, she tries eating some of the damp earth near her. At that moment, Pearl's worries have turned to real fear. She spots something moving upriver. It is not a great blue heron. It is not the skunk family. It's not the beaver building its shelter. This is a water creature. Pearl barks weakly. The water creature comes near her tree. Pearl now sees it as human in a canoe. Bark, 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 bark. The human is so close to her now, Pearl can hear him talking to her. Pearl is scared and hungry and thirsty. She knows she will need this human's help to find her family. Here's the human coming in something on the water. This human, a man, climbs out of his canoe and approaches Pearl quietly and calmly. He finds the place her collar is caught on the tree root and releases it. Pearl is free, and she is too weak to stand up. The man gently picks her up and cradles her in his jacket. He is so warm and kind, Pearl immediately knows he is going to help her. He places her, wrapped in his jacket, in his canoe, and pulls his canoe on wheels, which have a soothing sort of rhythm as they travel the dirt path away from the river. Bumpity bump bump, bumpity bump bump. Pearl watches the scenery pass, and she is certain this man is taking her home. They pass the blackberry brambles where she spent the night. They pass the beaver's shelter. There's Pearl with the coat in the canoe. Pearl wakes up and smells familiar scents. Not forest scents, not river scents, not the two human scents at this new home. When Pearl finally opens her eyes, she sees her own human family. They have come to take her home again. Pearl is ready to stay close to them. When Pearl is safely in her home with her human family, she sleeps again, this time on the warm bed her family has given her. Pearl dreams about her forest adventure. In her sleep, Pearl's little legs move and she lets out small yips though her eyes are closed. This will not be the last time Pearl will dream of her forest adventure, but it is the last time she will wander so far from her family. As much as Pearl appreciates the company of the beaver, skunks, and heron, nothing compares to the warm, soft bed of home. And that is the story of Pearl the Courageous Corgi Pup. Can you see why I read this to you after hearing the scripture of Psalms 23? I hope so. I would like to say goodbye to you. And Ollie and Link, if you're listening, I say I love you to you. And Oakley, if you happen to be listening, I love you too. Here's our candle. It's not a real candle, so I can do this. But we can pretend to blow it out together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Yep, we got it. Until next time, my friends, I say goodbye. Have a good week.